because we're live, which is good. Now the second challenge is trying to also dual stream it to Twitch because we want more people to watch, you know? Now it says that we're live, and I'm not quite sure. Anyways, welcome everyone. Let's see if we can get chat up so that I can see you all talking to me. Chat. If I load chat, the YouTube chat comes up, which is good. That's what we want. Now, if I do this chat, that will be the Twitch chat, which is there. And I can change the size to be a bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So I've been working on Loco's save system for a little while now. And, look, there's definitely been some growing pains with this one, moving over to a new system. Let's just see if stuff is working. Manage stream. Oh, I see. We are live. Sweet. That chat's up there. And it's pretty up to date. Hey! Got chat. Hello. I wonder if... Oh, no, I can't. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm just trying to make it so that on my prompter, I can see 2. Looks a bit blue there, doesn't it? If we go like... That did not do anything. Damn it. Damn it, chat. Okay, we'll just close that. Okay, yeah. Can I pop out this chat? Pop out. Hey, okay. There's one chat there. Fantastic. As you can probably tell as well, I'm a little bit sick. I'm recovering, which is why I'm streaming now. And not earlier, like last week, when I was very ill. Pop out chat. Great. I can't read the chat, though. It's too small. Okay, there we go. I think I got it. I can't rechange the chat. Ugh. I need a different chat thing. Oh, this is terrible. I wish you could see how awful this looks. I can't even scroll down. Oh, this is stupid. I know none of you are going to see what I'm doing here. That's okay. That's okay. Legendary, welcome. PY, welcome. Is there a way I can, like, hide that? No. All right, cool. We're just going to have to moderate everything on this side here. Let us get to the Unreal stuff. Here we go. You're welcome. I muted it for you. And then we want... If I close that, that'll be open. Man, but chat's right in the... I have a this mic arm. Goes straight down my monitor. And it always blocks the most convenient thing. Which is really frustrating. This is a terrible start of a stream. But that's okay. We don't care so much here. Because streaming is different. Close pop-up. I wonder if I can open it up and then change. Yes, there we go. Now I can see everyone in chat. Yay. All right, cool. So Here's what we're going to try and fix today. After I move OBS to the prompter so that I can see what we're at. I wonder if I can. One last thing. Preview. Full screen projection onto. Haha, there. There we are. All right, I think everything is done. Ah, got our VIPs in chat. Welcome, welcome. So, what we're trying to figure out today. I've reworked this save system that I got with this asset that came with this whole menu system, which has been pretty good. But there's been a few things that we've had to resolve. So, at the start of the game now. Oh, why did it just do the results date? That's weird. Are we even... We're not even in results. Oh, okay, that's another thing I have to save. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. In the main menu, when you launch it, you hit play. We have these save slots. That's great. That's good. That's what we want. Issue is that these first two are not the saves that we need. That's good because before we had just all empty slots. And now that these two are here, means that we are halfway there to solving the issue. Oh my gosh, there's so many tabs open now. And I can't tell because it's all screen sharing the same thing. So what we're trying to do is figure out how to make sure that each save slot in the game is represented in each of their save slots. Because right now it's just doing one save slot for each one that is technically saved. So we've got some logic thing here that's happening that isn't working as it should, and so we're trying to debug it and figure out the best way to solve this issue. So, this one here is fine. It's looping over everything and checks whether or not the slots exist, and if it does, then it generates that for it. The issue being here, actually, is I think it's this here that's causing us our problem. Because it's the game slot class. But then we don't have these variables here. So part of me is like, okay, are we using it in this one that it's... Yeah, it's these three. Yeah, okay. I think I understand. I don't think we actually need all three of these. Slot names. What happened to the other chat window? Now you're going to see all the tabs I've got open. That one and that one. Yeah, so figuring this out. Because we don't need... Oh, do we need slot names? Let's go through the logic here for all this. So we want to set up the save slot. So this asks what slot we are. Are we a save? Are we a new game? Are we a load? Set up slot. Okay, if it's not empty, this is what we want. If it's not empty, So what we have here. Oh, this isn't the one that we want. No, we don't want this. Was it? No. This one here. Because... Okay, that's... Actually, we should be able to just right-click and refresh. Learned that the other day. Refresh nodes. It's a load game. And then... What variable here? Was it because I haven't compiled it? Yeah, okay. And we'll refresh that as well. Game slot. We got slot number. The only one here is when we make the array, which I'm trying to remember what other slots were created. Yeah, I'm not sure. Because if we just want slot number, we can quite literally just give it the index. Like so. We will give it its index. Game slot. Pace. Event. Okay. Because then here we're like, okay, here's the slot number we want it to have. On select load slot. Oh, that's the function for actually loading it. And oh, actually, let's see if this even that's going to be another issue we're going to have to solve. Because if we do a load game, make it, we'll do what? Put it to 50. And what slot here are we trying to load? For some reason, console hasn't been coming up. Hey, James. No, thank you for the kind words. Game dev's definitely something that it's always interesting to look at and see how other people work, and good to know you're not the only one that's out here trying to make something impossible. Which is how it feels sometimes. It was white. Why didn't it show for longer? Or was it because we load game? It didn't load anything, so it just reloaded the level. Yeah, okay. So we're obviously... Because I removed one of the... I removed a slot because it was just a duplicate of another one I was using. But everything was working then when I was just using that duplicate. So would it have been smarter to just use and keep the duplicate? Probably. But once this is all working, then it'll be much cleaner. I'm going to remove that because I tend to lose those and then get annoyed at the debug logs, because we want the slot name. Because do we actually want it from there though? I don't think we do. We'll delete that one too. Yeah, but I don't think we want to get the active slot, or the selected slot in this case. Unselected slot. I don't want that. Oh, look at my tabs, look at my tabs, look at my tabs. All right, so it's referencing the slot. I didn't mute you, sorry guys. So we want the... So this is fine. This is getting all the slots and checking for them. But here, okay, yes. So it's creating the slots. And when we create the slots, then we tell it what slot it should be. Right? Yes. So let's do another print statement here. Independent. And what slot are we asking this one to create it with? What are we passing through? Of course, I have to... For some reason, my console's stopped working on my terminal. So we'll have to change this up to 50. And we'll put it to yellow. Okay, so that's just passing the number. That's just passing in the number. Which is good. That's technically what we want. Create base slot widget. So what if we don't even need this then? We just remove that. Remove that. Then we grab the slot number. Get slot. Get a literal string. We'll call it, say, level underscore, and then we append these together. So then that gives us the slot that we want. Well, we're saving level data. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. No, so we will keep that because we do need to reference that. But then we'll paste this in, and that should give us the slot that we need. All right, let's see what this does. Hey, look, we've got one here. That one there is working. Hey Dan, welcome to the stream. Good day to you. It's currently 1:43 p.m. on Tuesday. Been better, but we're getting stuff working. All right. Now, if we hit click on this one, will it load? No, it will load the game again. Oh, sorry. Fill widget with save game data. Yeah. So my question is, why did it not do that first one? Because we have save level 1 and save level 2. Oh, Dan, you haven't even seen anything of the game yet. Today, at least, we're not even working on the game, we're working on the save system. So I guess we're going to do another print. Change this to like 50. Save level. Yeah, save level 1, save level 2. Okay, just to see whether or not it'll even do a third one. Cool. It doesn't even come with the third one. Doesn't even save it. I'm questioning everything right now. Well, James, the level... I mean, you can see the level before, for what it was. But we want this save system working, because once the save system is working and the slots are going as they should be, then we can work on all of the things inside the game, inside the level. We can, like, once that's fully integrated, then everything else is just going to work. And it's just going to be dialing in numbers and assets and things. So, I'm questioning all my life's choices. See, part of me doesn't even want to put slot number in. Can we just put in, like, to save ourselves all of this trouble? Can we please just... it's this one, isn't it? Yeah, can we just put that in there? That'd be fantastic. Like that, yeah. Cool. And now we're just going to get the slot number. That can go there, that can go there. Beautiful. Compile. Hit play. Slot 2, slot 1. So look, that is working, which is good. That's what we want. So that part is functional. Straighten these guys out, put them together, and a nice clean blueprint. And we're setting this up with all of that, getting the level, to the funds. There's the funds, all that stuff. James, what do you mean by does Unreal handle it, or do I need to implement it myself? Because basically, all that blueprints are just encapsulated C++. That's basically what it is. So it does a lot of the more or less garbage collection. Yeah, it's just C++ in node form with a lot of like Unreal specific case stuff done on top of it to make it so that, you know, instead, like the reason why I like blueprints at least is that in scripting, when to reference something, when you build it and it's, for example, that you're referencing something that's null or not even referencing that you should be referencing, you won't find out until you try to compile it in blueprints. And I guess in a sense it happens as well in IntelliSense, but I feel like blueprints helps you, it puts the gates up a bit easier, especially when you're learning, you know, for the first time programming. But when you, for example, I'm casting to this object, this blueprint, if I want to get something from that blueprint, I'm literally just searching up what I can get and it'll tell me what variables are within that blueprint. I can just select. And so I know what's public and everything else. Yeah. Oh, so yeah, in terms of like saving stuff, I still have to do it myself. I'm using an asset that kind of has a lot of things set up for me. Where is it? And I had to check actually, I don't think I'm not saving to a JSON file, but I can. It's implemented. But basically what Unreal can do is it does serialize it in a way, not very well, because you can see here it's got like stuff that you can clearly read in ASCII, but it'll save to a .save file, but then I have to do all the logic on everything. And if I wanted to, I could serialize it, but since this game is single player and not really competitive, I'm not too fussed about it. So all it's going to do is just create a save. For me, mostly what I'm trying to do is pass the logic through correctly for everything and making sure that it's done in a good flow state. Hey, Xenomorph, welcome to the stream. Because yeah, when we are playing the game and you hit play, this is getting things within things within things. So we have so this is the save or load menu widget, which we saw before. And what we're doing here is we have basically like a scroll box. And at the start of this being initiated, this like once this is being created, this canvas or widget, then we basically initialize all this code that says, hey, where is it? Yeah, we say here, which, you know, functions, it's just functions declaring off of functions like any other script. And so here it's saying, hey, want to create some game slots. Here's some info on the game slots. And then we go into the function, and then it's like, all right, cool. Let's find all the game slots we can find. And then I don't actually think we need that here, do we? Yeah. No, you don't. I'm going to change that. Oh, maybe I should check to see where else this is referenced. It's just here. Yeah, we're going to change that. Well, yeah, I've worked on the menus mostly done now. So like I've got options, and that's all well and good. Everything that isn't available yet is, says it's not available. If you were to play a game, actually that one's not going to load. If we were to play a game, are any of them going to load? Probably this one, but it's not going to be real because it's not working properly. Like everything else within the menus, like I got the pause menu working and everything. Menu-wise, we're all good. Like prompts come up and stuff like that. The only thing right now that isn't technically working is this here. So it's more of the save system than the actual menu. But yeah, so trying to figure that out. Because as I said, that's right, we're gonna redo this. So we don't want any of this. So we're just gonna have slot prefix. Have it be save level. I thought it wasn't this one. Yeah, slot prefix, have that be save level. Good, good, good. That's crazy. Yeah, cool. So just slot prefix, which is this one here. And we're like, hey, does this exist? And if they're like, yeah, this exists. Creating a save slot. But then the slot created one. So this works. We're good here. This is all good. New game, load game. Yep, so now we want to go here. And this is set up the save slot. Set up slot from the save game. Yeah, okay. Let's see what slot number here we're getting. I change it to purple. I reckon that should be good. Slot 1 and 2. Great. And I realise that chat has been down. Silly me. So this bit's working. That's all good. I mean, fill with custom. let's just see to make sure that we're getting 2 valids. 2 greens. Yep. Which is what those 2 things are. The issue I have here, save game. Let's see if, because the second one is good, but the first one is not. So let's see if we're not referencing a save game. Again, we'll make it like pinky purple, duration for 50 seconds. Hit play. Nope, it's been referenced right. Which is even odder. I was hoping that that was something, but it's not. Yeah. Okay. Cast. Set visibility. Save game object. Cast 2. Interesting, interesting. Let's see if it cast fails. No. Cast does not fail there. Xenomorph, are you making an Australian joke? Of course you are. Why is one but not the other? Setup slot from save game. Like, that's the thing. It's if it was like the first one that was working and the second one wasn't, I'd be like, okay, cool. We're just probably overriding or not getting the next one in the loop. But the fact that 1 isn't correct, but 2 is, I'm stumped. I'm stumped on that one. That one, I'm like, okay. Only other thought is to... I'm just going to have to go through the functions, right? But setting all that up. And like that. That is that. You know? That's it. The save system, Xenomorph. The save system. Initialize the level. Yeah. Like that's... Empty, that's... Empty is working as it should. And that meta is working as it should. That second one's good, but that first one isn't. What if we just get rid of... Okay, instead of what I would usually do, which is delete, but I'm worried because right now we're not saving this information correctly. If we just delete all the save ones and then duplicate the save twos and make them ones to see if whether it's the old one. Because then we'll know if it's a function thing or a save thing. Save file. Hit play. Okay, so I think that's a save file thing, because that's working now. Which is good. Now the issue is we are not loading correctly. Which, again, let's go through now the load. Because that was if... Load game, yes. Slot-based widget. From save game. Navigation, highlight. Hey, Yuri. We're going well. We're bug testing. We're trying to get stuff working. On select load. Save game manager. You reckon if I do this, slot number, I wonder if this will make it work. Whoop. How are we? It's this one. It works. Fantastic. Let's play around for the people who don't know what I'm making. Everyone, this is where the game's broken because the save system hasn't been implemented yet properly. Because it's meant to be restricted, so you only can have so many glasses as there are sync available. But I've done one extra by accident because I broke the save system, and so this guy's Truthworths. Thank you very much for the $1.99. Really appreciate that. Miss your commentary of pop culture. Hope you're well. I am well. I'm doing good. I finished the semester at school, which I set out to do, which is really exciting. And I'm working on my game. So it's fantastic. Thank you for the $1.99. I actually really appreciate that. Goes a long way, and it usually goes to the channel and all the stuff required to run it, like editing and music that isn't going to get me copyright striked. One other error that I'm going to fix. Hopefully, maybe I'm not going to promise today, but you see this total right here? You see that little total spot? If you go to upgrades and go back, oh, would you look at that? And then go to upgrades and go back. Oh, would you? I wish money worked this way. This would be fantastic. Oh, look at that. Wow. All that money. That's just a super simple, like, Boolean check thing we're going to have to do. Anyways. Also, I'm going to change that to from saying level 1 to whatever. Now, what I want to happen, and I guess we can do this now just by deleting all of the 2s, is that we're going to fix it so that Dynamo, if you want to turn off the game, so slot created. Oh, that's right. I forgot that I need to change the input system because backspace right now makes you literally go back. Xenomorph, if you want to turn to the actual game, we've got keys for Steam. Have you signed up for the playtest? Now let's see if I go to quit. Yes. Will it save? It does. Yes. Yes. Yeah, Xenomorph, if you're on the Discord, then just be like, hey, I'd like a key, and I'll send you a key. This isn't the current build of the game, will be there. But once everything's working and I want a second round of playtesting, then this will then be pushed to the Steam private playtest, and you can play it to your heart's content. Although, yeah, you should probably even play the old version, because even though there are some issues in terms of like the settings and menu not really being there, the gameplay is there, more or less. There's still a bug that we're trying to squash, but Kieran, hello, welcome to the stream. Just letting those know who didn't know, if you join the Discord, ask for a playtest, then you can playtest the game. It's an older version compared to what I'm working on now, but I'm hoping to do another. So it's in Unreal Engine, and it's in English, if that's what you're asking. Chat. We is chat, Yuri. We. Inclusive. All of us. Yeah. Oh, blueprints. Or C++. But mostly blueprints for now. Great. So now that that's working, okay, let's see if we can do a third one. And it just, as soon as we... Look, we'll even do one for... Do a save for Yuri. Oh, thanks, Colin. That was very spontaneous, much like this stream. Hit play. Cool. All right. We're working. This is what we wanted. Great. Let's go to the Trello board and see what's next. Game slots. So we haven't done any of that. That's fine. Save data. That's Stop total from do. Wow, literally nothing here I have written has been done. It's just been fixing other stuff. That's a little bit embarrassing, isn't it? Whoops. You know what's crazy? Everyone watching. I have been streaming on Twitch for 50 minutes. Same with YouTube. And we have literally had no interaction on it, which is crazy to me. Like I'm curious to see who else is streaming.
It's the yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. How many people do we have? I hope I'm in the right category. I'm trying to find myself. That's so weird. What's this unstable? Average stream bitrate too high? Again with this too high crap. So stupid. So I'm just going to stop streaming on Twitch because it's literally done nothing for me. And dual streaming is a pain in the butt. And other people be like, oh, don't stream on Twitch, this and that, political reasons. I don't care. I just want exposure. That's all we want here. All right, so there's a few other things we can work on here now. We can either work on the game slots, so redesign them so that it looks nicer. Did I have a drawing? I had a drawing somewhere of how I want the game slots to look like. Because right now, yeah, here we go. Right now, they look like this. They're very just text, wall of text. What I want to do is have it camera, so that it looks like this. So let's close the game. I want it so that on the side here, it will say what slot number you are. It would give you a picture of what store or like restaurant thing you're in, along with the location name down the bottom. I then want to have the custom name there, so you kind of know what save slot you're working with, as well as the funds you have and the last save you did. And on the side it will say how many days in the game you've played, not in real life, in the game, as long as your actual playtime, and then whether or not it's the current save slot, so when you hit continue, it'll go to that one. And if you want to load a save slot or start a new game or whatever else, all that sort of stuff. So we can do that, or we can work on the results screen. So we were getting that bug before where things weren't the total was duplicating. We can work on that, or we can work on getting just all the save data basically working in the upgrade scene and also in the main scene as well. So that's what we can do. I'm trying to think what I would want to work on. Close that chat. Look at you guys getting a picture of everything. Yeah. Oh, chat saying some things. Con, you're on hunt for programs to organize projects. Trello, it's pretty good. Yeah, in terms of programs, Trello is probably just like the most common one to use. And Certified Stud Muffin, I am working on Loco. That's what we're doing here. Trello is pretty good to use. Like, I wouldn't fault it for any reason, really. Like, it does what you want it, any, like, organization program. And it's got some cool things as well. Like, they definitely updated stuff. Like now, yeah, you have these slots you can move around. But I also love that, like, inside these slots, you can have subtasks of things. So you can be like, redesign the layout. And so, like, for example, with the game instance, it's like, okay, I want to work on the game instance. But more specifically, I want to remove the unused functions and variables and set up slots for it to work, and then once that's all done, then you can 100% it, put it across. You know, I've got a whole bunch of to-dos, and it's funny, right? I feel like it gets more and more specific the further you go down. So when I have to do, I'm like, player animations. That's so vague. And then obviously things to fix are more specialized stuff. And like, there's this bug that happens, like things to fix settings. Like, okay, um, fixing highlight when carrying drink. Like these are all stuff. A lot of them aren't priority. So like priority right now is like the day over, which I moved. Usually I'll have stuff doing here, and then when my doing list gets too long, I'll move back to priority or just back to the to-do list if I'm not working on it. Um, but like it's good, and you can have different boards as well of different things. Like I personally, especially for projects that I'm working on as a solo, I prefer either using a notebook or just pad of paper to write down all the things I need to kind of focus on memory wise. And then for working out problems, really specifically like writing out diagrams and lines of code to figure out my thinking, as well as having like short little like tasks I want to do, I personally prefer a whiteboard. That is my go-to. I love whiteboards. Unfortunately, I can't have one here where I'm living because it's not my house, and I'm not. Yeah, it's someone else's. But I love using whiteboards. But in terms of programs to organize yourself, like really, a lot of them are free now, and you can just try them out yourself. And if you're happy with it and it's helping you be productive, then yeah, like Trello, I've used forever, and I kind of was against it early on because I'm like, oh, this is just such an indie dev thing to be like, yeah, I work on my Trello board. But like, it's good. It gets stuff done, and I like it because I don't have much physical space to organize myself in. And yes, certified stud muffin. It is still about serving hot chocolate. So, I think we're going to go back into the level of the game. Actually, no. First thing we're going to do before anything else is push our changes. We are going to close this, save everything, and say game slots now working. Fixed issues with game slots. And we're just going to push that change. Very weird. I had a moment there where well, this screen isn't letting me. Is this one letting me? Yeah. But on monitor 2, we can't move stuff around. That's weird. Whoop. It's Brave, I think. Is it Brave? If I go to... No. Oh, okay. Windows is dying on my computer, by the way. Like, if we do this, and go main cam, yeah, that all works here. Maybe we'll just close Brave and reopen it. All right, so that's been pushed. Let's open back up Coco Loco. There we go. Yeah, cool. Relaunch Brave. Hopefully everything works again. Okay, cool. Yep. Certified stubborn. Can't wait to see my game on next fest. Well, we'll see if we ever get there. For now, it's just I just want to get out on Steam. At this point, I just want to get this game finished. But yeah, whiteboards are fun. Amir says pen and paper for me. Yeah, hot chocolate's overrated. Yeah, I love my wallpaper too. I've had my wallpaper for like, I don't know how long. Like 3 years now. And it's a wallpaper I love so much. Every time I try to change it or like I get a different device, like my laptop and stuff, I'm never as happy with it. Yeah, hot chocolates. Sorry, I meant underrated. I meant they're underrated. Everyone's like, oh, sorry, I'm half on medicine to recover from my cold. But no, they're underrated. Everyone, calm down. Hot chocolates are underrated, not overrated. Hot chocolates are great. Okay, so I'm going to go into here and edit. Now this one's a doozy. This one here is my table blueprints, and there are people who always walk outside the front of our house, and for some reason they always stop right by the window of like my viewing, and it's not very wide viewing. It's a very specialized portion, but people always stop there. And so whenever I stop talking and look over this way, it's because someone's right in front of my eye view, and I'm like, "What are you doing? What's your dog doing? What that baby doing?" But yeah, this is probably not the biggest, but one of the more bigger blueprint layouts is the table. And that is for many reasons, because the table actually does manage a lot of stuff. But what I'm trying to do is... that one's fine, because that is actually an error that we'll call. Add chair. I feel like this actually might be on the NPC. Yeah, I reckon it's on the NPC. Yeah, right there. That's what we have. But we don't need that anymore, because it is working. Yeah, but we're talking about like old ladies or like middle-aged women who obviously are out for a walk because they are not very active. That's their active activity. For me, it's more of just a, oh, what are you doing? And if they're just gonna like fix their shoe or like, you know, pull up their pants and keep walking, that's fine. I think it's just this human instinct of like, oh, I also like it because they can't see me, but I can see them. Yeah. Anyways, enough talk about the neighbors. Oh my gosh, xenomorph anti-siege weapons work especially well on old ladies. I think they work on most people, honestly. Okay, so we don't need that anymore. Okay. I wonder if I should do a poll. Can I do a poll? Poll. Oh, start a poll. Okay, we're going to do either... That's not how you spell design. We're going to do a game slot redesign or day over results. And while you do that, I'm going to go and get a glass of water. And I promise this time I won't take half an hour because no one else is home to talk to. So I'm going to go refill this. All right, I'll be right back. And you know what? Just because I'm going to... I wonder if I can make it a bit bigger. Okay, and just because I'm going to fill this up, I'm going to insert an ad so you guys can give me a little bit of revenue if you would appreciate, or I would appreciate you watching the ad. Thank you. Okay, we are back. Joke's on you, Dave. If you're YouTube Premium, you give me like triple the usual view revenue, so that's okay. It's actually crazy. Wow, I mean, you're observant much. Yeah, it's a quest too. Because when I'm sick of working on Coco Loco, I end up working on Half-Life Alyx VR workshop levels because I have not enough hobbies or passions in my life. So, and occasionally play Beat Saber, but not really. It's more for Half-Life Alyx and Steam VR. Because I love Valve a lot. Yeah, I mean, you probably just have ad blocks on or something. So people are saying, okay, let's have a look at the results. 80% say Dover results. So, okay, cool. We can just end the poll there. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, premium. Well, if you're premium supporter, then you're fine. You're already paying me more than which I appreciate. Generally, it actually goes towards paying for services that content creation needs. And also you get cool emotes and things like that. Like, look, everyone else, if you want to be a cool supporter. Really? Or maybe that's because that's fine. What's that button to create a highlight video? There's just different buttons, and so I'm making sure that I didn't. No, that's the give me money button. No, I appreciate that. Look at those emojis. If anyone has any emotes they want to make custom, just send them on the Discord. Not to me privately on Discord. Yeah, you get VIP privileges. But if you got, I need more emotes. So if you guys can think of any more emotes, even if they're custom made ones, stuff that would be good to see in an emote. Like I don't want hyper detailed. Like I know people love AI art, but I feel like a lot of it is it'd be hard to see in an emote. So if it's either snippets of me or of the game, or if you want to do some fan art of the game that can turn into emotes, I think we've still got 3 more slots where you've got to fill things in. So, yeah. Anyways, so you want to do the results page? I'm happy to do that. I need to add the results page to my favorites. Maybe we could just do recents, but. So, because we're not using any of, I mean, we will be referencing it a little bit, but let's close all of those things down because we don't need them. Yeah, I mean, like when we get emoting characters, 100% they're going to be emotes. Okay, so oh look, I was doing that. Let's see if results shown is even. Yeah, we haven't used it at all. On transition to target menu. I'm gonna have to read documentation here because I think if we can put in a payload, but I'm not 100% sure how they actually use the payload. Save game payloads. Save game payloads. Save game for 3 different save slot types. Receive payload. Okay, so it's more for save system. Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll just. But that's. What's this one? This is results. Never mind. We don't need that. We need this one. Okay, results shown. Best way to do this. I feel like I need to move this stuff down. We'll move that one down. Well, okay, yeah, that one's going to be the main menu. So we can organize that as a... That's all the logic for the main menu. And then this one is all the logic for the results. So that is that like that. And then upgrades, we've got nothing because we haven't touched the upgrades yet. For me, it is OCD, Amir. Like I've people are always like, ugh, nodes and blueprints is spaghetti code, which it can be. But I like to clean things up because most people, right, when they want to reference this, they'll just do it like that. Not me. I'm like, no, we're going to straighten all these nodes so you can know exactly where they're all going to. And sometimes I get lazy, but most of the time it's pretty organized. Like this one, not so much, but I feel like, you know, if you do that, you're like, okay, cool, I know where that one leads. We're going to change that actually. Save level data. Forget. Oh, is it area? What's it called? Location. And you know what? Just so I know that we're going to the... Oh, I mean, we'll know if we just play it. Why was that doing the start of a new game, guys? We're playing the results. So why was that playing the game again? I don't know. And I do not want to play a whole level right now. Please. Okay. End day. See, it does on payload here. In payload. On transition to target menu. Is there payload? If I type in received payload. And then I print. Oh, that's not what I want. Print string. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. That's the thing. It's like I can't do cheats if I don't even know the reason why. Because it should be just loading the results page. Why is it immediately loading to the main menu? Sorry, not the main menu. The game. I got no response for you there. Like, if I just remove these two, actually, if I just remove this one, play. Like, that's the main menu one, and this is the... I don't know why it's going to the game. I'm actually baffled. If we just go to level, go to results, save, like we're in results, we hit play. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm genuinely baffled. I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. Well, no, I'm not overwriting any saves. The issue is that I'm in the results window, or the results level, and for some reason it's going straight to the main menu. But I'm in. Like, there's nothing in the level blueprint. The only thing in this scene, which is loaded, is this one here. If we go to the graph editor, there's all this other dumb stuff. But it should just create and show a menu. So, yeah, very strange. Yeah, not sure why that's even happening. Subtabs. Interesting. Well, for now, let's just do the logic self. Do we even need payload? I don't even think we need payload for those, do we? Let's find out. We'll have to play a full level for it. That's fine. Is the audio echoing for anyone? I'd love to know. Like, does it sound better when I do this? Or does it make no difference? Sweet! That's great. I'm so glad to hear that. Because I'm blasting it right now. I mean, you can lose. It just means you don't have enough money, and you lose out on your savings, or you go into debt. And we're stuck. We broke the game. Because if we go to dead person map, there's more if you think everyone should look at you judgingly if you lose. Fix sync amount. Oh, that's... You do not need a cast to game instance. It's literally the game instance. Get item data? Well, no, okay, hold on. Now I've got to think again, the save system, because I want to fix this little thing here, which is that this amount is not correct. And I have a database. I'm just trying to think. Actually, I think the tables might have it. How do the tables get everything? Yeah, here, get level data. And they look for the row. Or if we just do... it would be in items. That's where we want the sync info to be. Oh, but then the sync info is going to be this whole other thing of like each object. Look, for now, let's just set it up a bit. Because what? We'll put it to 6. Because that's going to be a whole other thing I have to figure out. Uh, 5. We'll change it to 5. Because the way that the sync will hold it is that we will first reference an object that is a sync, which is this mesh here, and then it'll have a declared amount it can have in it, but then we also need to have this dry and rack here, and that's a lot of work, but we want to get the results menu thing working first, and then once the upgrade system is working within results, then we can work on the sync. For now, I just make the number up a bit. Oh, that's weird. Now we're not getting any dishes. Add to dishes. Add to dishes rack. Add to dishes rack. Why are we getting errors here? Access none trying to read properly dish rack. Are we not getting... Find references. Set. Dishes rack. Yeah, Oh, repair. Why is it dishes rack 2? Isn't it just dishes rack? Yes. Oh, maybe because that one isn't connected. That'll do it. Xenomorph, if I ever come to a convention in the USA, probably go to PAX East or West one day to showcase my game. Yeah, but Yuri, I was already working on this when I did that. I was more like, do I drop my project and start something new? Or do I finish the game? I think the biggest issue has been studying and trying to balance this and YouTube and everything else. But I think for now, like, I've got some videos I really want to finish editing. I did some podcast interviews. But I really want to get this done in this semester break. See what? I don't want it to be. Where was 6? I feel like I saw a 6 somewhere. That's in the sink. Dish rack. If we do dish rack, what's in the dish rack? Amount 4. And if I do 4. Okay. I think it is 5. Yeah, look, if you told me 4 years ago I'd still be working on Coco Loco, I would be terrified. That's the thing in me, you can't be in the mood if you want to get stuff done. You should set goals and have self-discipline. That's the unfortunate thing, right? See, it should be... It should be 6? I don't even know anymore. Dishes rack. How many do you have? What's your count here? Max amount. Okay, you don't have a max amount right now, but... in here, how many do we have? I'm pretty sure it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's 5. And I've got 5 here. Doesn't need to be 6? Like, honestly, right now, I don't want to work with Coco Loco. In this moment, I want to go play Half-Life 2 Episode 2. I've been playing through all the games again with developer commentary, and it's been really fun. Just want to go and just play shooting games. But I know that if I don't finish this in my life, I will be disappointed. And when I go to game dev meetups and they're like, hey, what have you been working on? And I'm like, oh, Coco Loco. And they're like, still? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Okay, no. Oh, no. I think the sync's actually got the issue. I have Xenomorph. I've done Game Jam. Yeah. See, and now it shows the today's results. But I'm like, why? Why are you gaslighting me? And then like, I don't know what it is. Guys, I really don't know. I genuinely don't know what's causing that. I really don't. Does it mean to play? Hey, Jonas! So, Jonas, I'm working on a game that I've been working on for ages, actually, called Loco. It's like a cafe dasher game where you serve hot chocolates to customers, making in Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I mean, the music does make up for, having to replay it over and over, but just so you know, I've been playing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You get the point. Yeah. So Xenomorph, the first game jam I did was a VR one. That was like a remote one. And it was pretty easy finding a team because it just had Discord with people looking for team members. And you basically just say, hey, here's what I can do. And then you have, like, I was like, I'm a generalist. I can do 3D modeling. I can do programming. Whoever needs me, needs me. Issue with that was the time zones. And that we had people who were doing work but weren't really commenting on it or letting people know what they did. In-person ones, like they have the global game jam is each year in January, which I went to 2 years ago. Couldn't go to the last one because of a wedding. But that was, I knew like one guy there that I was like, you know what, I want to see what it's like working together. And we made a game. It's an app now. And he hadn't had much experience in Unity and C#, and I wanted to kind of see how he solved problems and did things. So I just did the 3D modeling and stuff for that. But yeah, game jams, I mean, easiest thing really is just to go onto itch.io if it's up and active, finding a game jam that interests you. Oh, sorry, it's got a cough. And then basically finding teammates. It's good to have people who overlap with you. I'm not saying you need to be like 24/7 with them in terms of your schedules, but even having like 2 to 4 hours where you can both be working on it at the same time, whether it's like you doing it in the morning or them doing it at night, just helps a lot with communication. What was it enough? I would just even try doing, I mean, you can try doing a game jam, because it'd be cool to have. Oh, there's a car at the front of the house with orange lights. Wow, guys. The street is so... Why do they always stop in front of our place? I guess it's before the corner, but... Like, what do they want? What are they doing? Do I know this person? Oh, it's a person in a pink beanie. Are they... Oh, they're checking drains. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, like... Exactly. Do you know, Amir, you guys hop on the Discord, chat it out. Even the co-working section you guys can use to make something together. Share your work, like Amir, show what you can do. Zeno, show what you can do in terms of your art, and try making something. Anyway, Jonas, back to what you were saying. It's kind of like Played Up, but it's single player, and yeah, it's more inspired by the Flash games I played growing up, like Diner Dash and Penguin Diner. And right now we're trying to make the results screen after you play a level, working on that. Because right now, when you switch between like your results numbers and the upgrades, it duplicates your total income, which is a great life hack. If anyone knows how to do that in real life, that would be great. But for the game, we don't want that to happen because that's a pretty bad bug. So what I'm doing is, oh, that's right. I was checking to see if the payload did anything. I don't think it did. No one else saw anything weird happen when we were on the construct page. Yeah, Xenomorph, honestly, get onto it. And like, I know Discord, like, it's not my favorite service. I kind of hate Discord, but it is definitely something that if you want to get into game dev and stuff, like, everyone's like, hey, join the Discord. So, and most game dev YouTubers do game jams. I'm thinking of doing one. But yeah, watch this space for that because I'm not quite sure yet. My biggest thing, right, is that if I do Discord, I'd probably want to do one either focused on Unreal, like people who are working in Unreal and they can kind of experiment it for the first time, or I want a really cool theme that we can have a fun prize with. Oh, Xenomorph, that's okay. I'll wait for you. That's funny though, guys. He's getting towards good lads. Okay. Basically, all I'm trying to say is, yeah. I was talking about my own game jam stuff that I might do in the future. I will do that. I just want to think of a good prize. I want a good. I am kind of sick of game jams where they're like everyone's a winner or like there aren't any awards. So if I do a game jam, I want to have like first, second, and third. I want good prizes. It'd be really fun for Unreal to have it be like first prize is like a really cool asset that you can get. Yeah, I just thought about reaching out to some asset makers or figuring out how to get some funding for that to have some cool prizes. Yeah, Jonas, like yeah, you need to be a master of many things. Yeah, competition is motivation. And I get like with big teams and review panels and judges and stuff, that's a lot of work. But for me, it's like prize pools are really fun. So if you guys can think of like the annoying thing, right, is that since it's an international game jam, doing something fun or funny like I would order you a pizza, it's very hard to kind of do because how do I get that pizza to you if you're on a different side of the world? There's different currency and stuff. Resin. So I'm making a cozy cafe game. I feel like people just jump in and they're like, "What are you making?" And I'm like, "The easiest way is just to show you." So you play as a waitress in a cafe/restaurant where you serve hot chocolates and other goodies. Like that's a milkshake. It's not hot chocolate. But yeah, so it's talking about game jams and how if I was to run one, I want some really cool prizes. I'm going to motivate you. So some of those things would be, actually, books. Like a really good, nice book on game dev stuff, like a principles in game design. I like that idea, actually. I might Think about it. Like if you do like principles of game design for a prize. The only thing is, like, I would love to gift software, but I don't know the... Ooh, actually, hold on. We need to go to Steam. How much is Substance Painter? Why is Substance 3D Painter so cheap? Whoa, hold on. How come it says here $36.50? And then here it's $289. Oh, a month. Oh, that's Steam. You gotta fix that. Yeah, Xenomorph. No one gets smooches except for my wife. No one gets free smooches. Indie. Free additional content. Because yeah, I'd love to gift like Substance Painter. That's $300. Woo! Xenomorph, not even in Minecraft, no. Resin asks, I have a question. Due to my family budget, I can't buy a PC or laptop more price than an RTX 3050, enough for learning. You want to know my specs? Here, I'll show you my specs. I have... It's analyzing it, sorry. So I have an Intel i7 770 at 3.6 gigahertz. That's a relatively... it's mid-range. 32 gigs of RAM. But in terms of a GPU, I have an RTX 2080 Super. Like, yeah. 3050 is gonna be fine. Like, the thing is though, like Substance, there's some people who really want to get into this. And this is where you like specialize for stuff, right? Because I
There
wish
is a new node in Substance Designer. It's called the scatter splines on.
this is for like the tech artists and the people who want to actually make game art. Like this is really good stuff. I've got older versions. But yeah, 3050 is really good for high intense graphics. So if you're playing any of these video games, it is all fine for video game stuff. As soon as you get, and this is the interesting thing, right, that people don't realize. As soon as you get into actual game development, when you aren't using Unreal, Nanite, and this and that, and you're not using the GPU to render stuff within Blender, a lot of the bottleneck stuff I've experienced, at least in game dev, is my CPU. When you compile stuff in Unreal, CPU. When you render stuff in Cycles and Blender, CPU. When you import things into Unity, CPU. But like, again, I'm using a 2080 Super, which is the like worse version. And it runs fine. And the thing is too, right? This is running within Editor. That was running in Pop Out. If I was to build this game, like actually, we've got the old version of Loco here. And this is less optimized than what I've done recently. But if I launch the old version of Loco, Oh, I don't have frame rate on. That's annoying. It's more of a trust me bro situation then. But like, this is running fine. Does anyone know the way to put on frame rate? FPS count. Yeah, we are getting like 96 frames right now. 97. Like that's... We are fine. So... Yeah, let me make a good point too, of like disk. Like this is my disk drives. So I've got an SSD for the C drive. I've got my old SSD from when I first got my computer. That's like my backup storage and has other stuff. Mostly games I want to run off of an SSD. And then I've got just a standard HD drive that has all the other stuff. Guys, again, this is the old version of Loco. This is the Steam version from playtesting. I was just showing you how well the game runs outside of the engine. And then I got a NAS, and so that's just an external network storage that has a whole bunch of stuff. That's 10 terabytes, and so far I've filled it up with 8 terabytes of stuff. And you might be like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff. Trust me, when you start getting into asset creation and making games and keeping stuff, like as well with YouTube, right? Again, 8 terabytes of just stuff. Yeah, Jonas. So in terms of stuff working on right now, it's getting the... Again, I can't just show you the results. I have to play the full game, which is so annoying. But it's... So for example, having the days count up when you finish a level is one thing we have to work on. As well as having it so that, you know, all these things right now kind of, you know, are half finished. So we want to have it so that these items can be upgradable, like the register at the front here. Have it so you can have different hot chocolate machines that make making things faster, as well as the fridge. Have it so that you can change the whole aesthetic of things, as well as the dishes. So like maybe get a dishwasher, so that you don't have to wash things each time. As well as making it so we can... Oh, okay, I've just broken something. Making it so that when you do upgrades in the game, so you get like a different table or chairs, it actually does that. Like right now, it's functional gameplay wise. It's just getting it so that there's progression in the game. And then from there, we start to fine tune and listen to feedback when people are like, hey, I wish that the controller felt a bit better, or the game's boring after a certain point. Oh, right, we're out of... There we go. Oh, right, we got a wash dish. Yeah. So the progression, and as well, like, there's no tutorial yet in the game. There's no story yet in the game. So right now, what we're working on, actually, is this screen right here, making it so that... so we've got a bug right now, so this says 204. When we switch between the two a few times, it goes up, because it's multiplying the profit by the total, and then it resets the widget so it goes up again. Hello, Mr. Mustachio. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, and so that's a bug we need to fix. And then also the upgrades. Currently, there are no upgrades. But if I go to an old widget, so upgrades used to look like. So we had like different sets. So the chair, the table, drink, the floor, and the ceiling, or the walls. And then it would generate items you can unlock and buy. Oh no, one of my units for university has released a grade. Oh, I hate this feeling so much, but I gotta check. Should I? No, I won't show you. I'll just tell you what it is when I see it. All right, final grade. 37 out of 50. What's the feedback? Hello, team. Thank you for your submission. It's so annoying because... Okay, I have to find a better way of doing this. Because the mic arm is literally right where I want the feedback to be. Okay, thank you for submission. You've designed a game that has server strings. The art is really cute and distinctly well done. The logo is awesome. The game is simple with graphs, which is good. I'm wondering, though, if not more could be done to really lean into the pitch. In other words, can the feel of pitching an idea? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, mathematicians, 37 out of 50. What's that total? All right, chat, you guys are really... 74%. Look, it was a team assignment, so I'm not mad about it. It was a group assignment. My last grade for that thing was 30 out of 30, so... Yeah, so this is what the old upgrade system looked like. And we're going to change things around a little bit. I do like these icons. No, Yuri, I didn't use a calculator. I used chat. I used you. How does it feel to be used to calculate my grade? Hold on, Raisin. So I'm trying to help you here. What hardware do you currently have? Yeah, okay, sorry. Chat, you're going off. Jonas, do I know what's causing that? Yes, I do. It's just figuring out the solution to that problem. Because what's happening, for those who are interested, this is our base scene for the results. So all it has is this top bit here. And when we start that, we say, all right, I want you to create a menu for me. And so it will create this menu here. Now, when we then move over to the upgrades, it'll then generate this menu instead, which destroys the other one. So when we go back to this one, then it'll again look at the profit and look at the total, which has been saved since we changed the scene, and it'll add that to that. And so we're basically just adding on top of without actually having to do any work. But Raisin, I'm curious to see what you have a i3 10th gen with Intel integrated graphics. See, that's interesting, right? Why is that interesting? Because I have a computer with integrated graphics as well. It's not i3 10th gen. I will admit that's pretty rough. But how do I put this? I'm not saying you shouldn't upgrade. I will say this though. Getting a 3050 or whatever GPU is not going to make you finish your game, if that makes sense. And I would also probably suggest that you, I hate saying this, start small, but start with a base mechanic and try to finish a game around that, or be highly disciplined and ready to learn and relearn and reintegrate things a lot. Because that's what I do, right? As you saw before in my game on Steam and stuff, like the game works on Steam currently, but there were issues I had to revisit because not everything was within scope as I initially intended. That being like the way that save results are stored and stuff like that. Yeah, Jonas, exactly. We need to basically tell when we generate this, hey, don't add on, which is here somewhere. Leptonics. Do you have any stuff on your channel? If I go to, so I'm gonna stalk your channel. Oh. But yeah, guys, if you are interested in chat, Leptonics, he is from, he's local indie dev like myself. Also has some great advice. So if you have any questions for him, feel free to reach out and be like, hey, how do I make games? You know what, bro? I'm gonna add you as a moderator. Leptonics, you're now a mod. So hopefully people can be like, you can answer questions and do stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Yuri, that's funny. No, game dev related. Come on, Zeno. Because that's the thing, right? Like, I learnt making games in Unity, and I'm using Unreal right now. But the more I learn about making games, the more like I'm this close to building my own engine. Because you can make games on an i3 laptop. Yeah, tough luck working from VIP to working class now. Anyway. So, shown. That's what we have here. If we do reveal numbers, can we add a shown? Oh, I'm already doing that. That's funny. Oh, do we need to pass it through like that? I don't know what's better. Yeah, Cohen knows as well. And like, but like even reason like learning how to use Parker 8. Like, even while you wait for new stuff. Pico 8 is a super cheap... I mean, super cheap is a bit broad. It's $15. It's a micro engine. People have built a bunch of stuff. And the cool thing is, right... Actually, I've got it here somewhere. Pico 8, right here. It's a little virtual console. If you can make a game in Pico 8, you can make a game in any of the other game engines. I'll say that much. Like, you can... People have made games and done stuff, and the awesome thing with that, right, is that you can play any one of these random games you like, and then you can actually... I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's got mouse. Oh, interesting. Anyways, but then what you can actually do is... I swear there's a button that does it. Exit Explore. That loads it. But yeah, you can play any one of these games, and then you can actually see the source code of the game. Like, you can have... They've got, like, things like Celeste that are just, like, kind of carbon copies. Ah. I forgot no. Oh no. We've broken something, guys. But yeah, like, you can make stuff. I wonder if I've got my... Yeah. So I started working on something. Didn't get very far. Oh, lol. That's not it. That's just an image. But the thing with building your own engine, right, is that you... No, I still think if you can build your own engine, you should do it. 100%. Because at the end of the day, even if Godot's free or Unreal is 5% or whatever, you don't know everything that's built with the tool. And there will be such annoying things, right? So one of the biggest things I have in Unreal that's bugging me is that for some reason NPCs will not walk to tables. And it's nothing buggy that I've done. I'm declaring everything correct. It's nothing that's within the system here that is wrong. It's the engine itself. There is a bug in the engine. This is why I hate using Unity, because if there's a bug in the engine, you can't fix it. It's a black box. You've got to wait for them. And the annoying thing with Unity is that things change all the time, and it's an all-encompassing ecosystem. So, like, the best version of Unity to use VR is different from the best version to use for console, and all that sort of stuff. With Unreal, the positive is that if there's an issue with a version of the engine, you can get the source code. It's not open source, but the source code's available to you, and you can grab a fix if there's future versions, or you yourself can fix it. But, and the same is with Godot as well, but the issue is that if you are building your own tool and your own engine, you know how everything works, and you can specialize it. You can specialize your engine to be the best it can be for your use case. If you're making a 2D RPG, you can make it so that your engine can load things way faster than any other engine. You can make it so it's super good at loading your sprites. You can do it, you can like set up so that when you draw something in a certain program, it will just sync up like that within the engine to do whatever you want it to do. Now, there are issues, of course. It's going to take a lot more time. And if you don't know how to really program, you don't have that computer science background, there's going to be a lot to learn. But once you do learn how those certain things work, building an engine, it does two things, right? One, it makes it so that every bit of the engine does what you want it to do and you understand it and it can be optimized and work the best way that you want it to work. And the second thing is it's unique. You know, right now we have a bajillion games coming out on Unreal. And again, this is something I think about a lot on the daily with what I'm working with. There are a bajillion games coming out on Unreal Engine 5. There are so many games built with Unity and Godot and GameMaker. But you know what makes Minecraft so unique to itself is that it's made on its own game engine. Have you guys seen what Notch has been working on? If I go to, and this comes straight from the man himself. I'm going to sign in. Sorry, guys. Elon Musk's just saying that I'm an incorrect sign-in. I'm like, no, I'm not, bro. I'm Nathan bloody Rona. Oh, my password. No, okay. Here we go. So Notch is making. Oh, I wonder if I can go to. I mean, you can kind of see it here in his account, anyways. He's making a new game. Guy who made Minecraft. Maybe I should share my screen. Screen share. Called Levers and Chests, and it's a voxel-based dungeon crawler. And you can actually see how it looks as a game. Now you could say, "Oh, Nathan, looks like every other, voxel game engine." Like, sure, in some aspects, but in other aspects, it's got such a unique style to things, right? And he shares his process of it all. But one of the things that he said was that if you're a programmer and you really care about programming, let me see if I can just find it. If I just go game engine. Probably not, because he tweets a lot. But basically, he said that if you care at all about how your game looks, you should build a game engine because it makes it unique. It makes it super duper unique. Like, no one else can replicate your game because you've made it in your engine. Sorry, guys, give me a pulse in the chat because I kind of went off board there. And look, there's the aspect of like you can hardly motivate yourself to work on your game, let alone work on a game engine. I think there is a question to be had as to why you're making games. And this is the kind of thing I think about a lot. Of if you're making games solo and you plan on only making them solo and you want to get really good at making them solo, I think the appropriate step would be to make your own game engine. Or you can do this as well, right? You can get a branch of a game engine and make it your own, whether it's getting Godot and basing it off that. You can even do that with Unreal. It's just that the licenses that you have for Unreal still uphold to you. So if I wanted to, which I might do in the future, I haven't decided yet, but I can gut Unreal of all the useless crap it has, optimize the hell out of it, and still have to pay 5% to Epic. And it's that question of like, is it worth doing that? It's like, well, if I already have the systems in place and I know how things work, maybe it is worth doing that. But like at the end of the day, yeah, like Colin's just said, like making games is an ambitious project. And is it just going to be a hobby, a thing you do on the side? Then sure, use a game engine. But I feel like there's people are too afraid to try difficult things or master difficult things. Like, especially if you're doing 2D, if you're making a 2D game or 2D game just in general, it is not that hard to make a 2D game. And heck, even 3D. I'll show you someone else. If you love game dev, then you should know who Thin Matrix is. He does these awesome cozy devlogs. Right now, he's making like a farming game, which are like, oh, typical, but it's a little bit different. Like, it's not what you think of when you think of farming games.
It would take less than a year. It's the end of the day-to-day.
Like, you don't play as a person or character like you do in Stardew Valley. It's all kind of top-down, more management style. Let me see if I can go to some of his actual work. But like all of this stuff that he's made here, that's all in an engine. He's done all of that himself. He's not using Unity, he's not using Godot, he's not using Unreal. This is all based off of his own programming. Because here's the thing, right? You don't need to build everything from the ground up. There are libraries for things. There are tools for things. But it's way easier to use a tool that you can literally pinpoint the exact position in memory where a function is being used rather than using an actual game engine. Like, yeah, all this movement, everything here is within his game engine. It's not a game engine itself, it's technically speaking, but it is. And so, like, when people are like, oh, it's so difficult and hard to do things, it's like, well, there's so many libraries out there. You can actually make your own stuff. Yeah, anyways, that's my rant. You guys got me going. I'm a bit confused about your thing about spoiling yourself. The way you learn is by looking at other people's work, is it not? And yeah, I try learning Godot, and I've always thought about switching over for certain things, but just the infrastructure. Just not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of GD script. C# hasn't been properly implemented yet. And I don't know, it's just it's funny. I've yet to see a successfully commercial project made with Godot. Like, if I Google most successful game made in Godot. Dome Keeper. Never heard of it. Like, does anyone know a really successful game made in Godot? Like, yeah, it's just crazy to me that, like, probably some people will be like, yeah, I've heard of that game. Stardew Valley was made from its own engine. Like, it was built from the ground up. Yeah, Yuri, I'm pretty sure they've retired the CD Projekt engine now, and they're just going to be using Unreal. Sonic Colors Ultimate. That sounds like it was made in Godot. Let's have a quick Google. That says it was made in the Hedgehog engine, using Sega's proprietary Hedgehog engine together with Blind Squirrel. Use the renderer from Godot engine in order to replace the original, since the GX graphics was not Wii portable. Okay, so they've used... I don't think that counts, though, because they're just using the renderer. Anyways, let's get back to making games while chat is discussing things. Now, shown. Oh. See, I think what we need to do, right, is we move this. Oh, but we need to show it. Okay, hold on. Let's think about this more carefully. So, right, we're calculating. Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll do this at the very start. Even before the delay. And we'll say, is this shown? We can remove shown because it's inside itself. Make a branch. We'll say, hey, if this hasn't been shown, calculate the results. But if it has been, let's just show the results anyways. That makes sense, right, team? Jonas, right now it is 10 to 4 p.m. Xenomorph, you should just go to bed, dude. The only most complicated thing about engines is graphics. That is probably very true. I mean, this is so true. Like, I love Vida's really good when using Unreal and C++. And I am using Visual Studio right now because for my C++ project, because it comes with the template for Visual Studio. But VS Code, man, it's the best. It's not even IDE. It's a text editor, but it's the best one. Anyways, let's see if this works. Oh, already getting some errors here. Upgrade widget. Okay. Update profit. Is this for the old one? That is for the old one. We can just break that. We don't need that. Like, that's irrelevant. Hit play. Upgrade. Compile. Invalid message. I mean, I was like, oh, delete all this. No, I can't. This one's also old, yeah? Okay, cool. Because I want to use them for reference, for visual reference later. Yeah, Colin, I'm the same in terms of library linking and stuff, especially if you're using CMake. I feel like I actually never got any of that working in either Visual Studio or VS Code. The only way I've had it working is to do dynamic linking from a template. So like everything's already set up within the project itself. Eventually I'll have to do it like in one of my units at school. But man, I hate it. It's the one thing that I'm like, oh, I feel stupid. Okay. Compile, no errors there. Great. Hit play. Results. Remove. We're good. I mean, there's plenty of like small, half-made or unfinished game engines on GitHub. I was looking at some because during previous semester we had to do like a C project, and I was just looking at stuff to make in C, and I found a whole bunch of just small little C engines. They weren't very extensive, but you know, they had all the stuff you needed, and I was like, oh, that'd be fun just to like build off of. Oh, Raisin, my sweet, sweet friend. Look, let me finish testing this, and then I'll talk to you about that. Talking about if IT feel that much worth like Microsoft and Google. Oh, I said Google, my phone buzzed up. Okay. Now let's see if we fixed it. So 258. Hey! It worked. We fixed it. That was a very easy fix. And that delay is only happening because we need it to. And it's only going to be within the engine itself. We'll remove that. Actually, are we able to... I don't think we can we? You know, we can't. I wish there was a thing that said you could just... I know there's C++ things that do it. Nodes and stuff people have made, plugins. I wish there was just a inbuilt thing where you could right-click and be like, only use this if we're in the editor or if we're in the development build. Anyways, I want to go ask or answer Ryzen's question because I think it's an important one. Is it dark in here? Let me turn the light on. So, Resin asked, Nathan, is IT field that much worth like Microsoft, Google? My parents are mostly pushing me there, but I'm rejected that idea. I'm really passionate on game dev. There's something really important you need to know about game development, right? In terms of like having it as a job and a career and whatever. I would ask you this, if you're okay being poor, being stressed, being under a lot of pressure all the time, having no money, working on old hardware because you can't afford the new stuff, because there's no work to go around. If you're okay with losing your job every 1 to 2 years, and you're still passionate for game development, and you're happy to, you know, struggle to make ends meet, and just having that existence, then go for game dev, because that's what's going to happen if you go game dev. It depends on the world where you are. In the States, look, you probably get some decent paying jobs, and if you work hard enough in the games industry, you will get to a point in senior management where you can make 6 figures managing people and being a lead in teams. Again, like I said, prepare though to lose your job every 2 to 3 years. If you're lucky, you can get more than that, but you're also going to have to be considerate on relocating your life. Like every 5 years you're moving, every 10 years at least. And so you have to be okay with that existence. And again, yet, like Amir said, like IT, older people, boomers especially, say IT just to mean computers. IT is specialized in more setting up and maintaining infrastructure of computers. So when people say they work in IT, you usually are like IT support at a business where you set up computers, you look after the network, all that sort of stuff. If you're working at Google, you aren't necessarily working in IT. I don't work in IT. I hate IT. I don't like IT. I don't like fixing other people's problems. I am a software developer. I'm a game developer. I prefer computer science, where we are making and creating things. Okay, if you go to work at Google or Microsoft and you're making stuff, you're more likely to be a software developer. You're not working in IT. Now, that does not mean that you aren't going to be able to work in games. There was a talk we had the other week, actually, from someone who worked at Google, now works at Discord, and they were in the games industry. they didn't make video games per se, but rather their job was to figure out how their services could be incorporated into making games. Whether it was, Google has web hosting, and they're like, okay, how can we cater this so that people can, game developers use our web hosting for their private networking. So they actually worked on open source tools, while at Google, which are used by big companies like Nintendo and Microsoft on their infrastructure in back-end multiplayer stuff in their services. And, if you work at Microsoft, the likelihood of you working for Xbox is probably going to be a lot bigger, and you could end up working with game developers at a good paying job. There are adjacent things as well. You could work in the VFX industry using Unreal Engine. You're not making games so much, but you are using game development tools. And here's the thing, right? Like, if you're passionate about making games, what would I suggest that you do? I would firstly ask yourself, what life do you want to have? Do you want to be able to afford things, or do you want to be poor? Because that is legitimately what it's going to be like. With, like, especially where we are in Melbourne, in Australia, there are, dare I say, more unemployed game developers than there are employed ones. And industries and companies shut down, they close down, everyone gets fired. And that's the reality of making games. And it's getting worse. In the sense that the climate and the way in which games are developed are very different to how they were even 10 years ago. I talked to old game developers, guys who've been making stuff since the 90s, and they have said that it has never been so difficult making games now, because it's so hard to get a pulse on what people want to play. Because you have things like that plays a service games, so things like Dota 2, League of Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Apex. These are games that, like, even FIFA, stuff like FIFA and that player base plays that one single game. And you're not going to get them moving on to a different game because that's the game they play. And that's the issue I've had a lot with like extraction shooters and people who are like, oh, we're the Rainbow Six Siege, but the sci-fi, or this and that. It's like, no, if you want to play with Siege players, they will just play Siege. There is no new thing for that. Other issue is that there's just so much consumerism going on in the world. People are glued to their phones watching TikTok, Netflix, and subscription services, and things like YouTube are taking up your time. And so what used to be very easy, just to walk into a video store to rent out movies, and you could rent out games, and you would see the selection of 5 games you could play, and after you played the 4 of them, you'd pick the 5th one because, well, you finished the other 4. Now, look at Steam. How many games are on Steam? How many games are on itch? There is so much going on and so much information now. And this is the biggest issue with working in the world that we live in now. And this is me getting more like philosophical and stuff. What was I saying? Raisin, you said something, so I'm just going to read that instead. So if I want to make money, I should go work Google or some soft company to earn. And if I get money, I can afford good hardware. So I should learn and study hard in my university. Is that a good one? Yeah. Like for me, right, I talk about like my career and what I've been doing. I started a degree in game design at JMC Academy. Did that for about 10 months. Dropped out. Main reason being was that I got engaged. I was going to get married and my wife was still studying. And I was like, I want to support my wife through her studies. This isn't for me. The course wasn't for me. Games, I was ahead in what they were teaching. And a lot of the things that I was surrounded by just wasn't. I was like, nah, this is a waste of time and money. honestly, if you ever want to make games, just don't go to school for it. There's very few places I would suggest going to school to make games. But more often than not, it's way better just to go do game jams. Do game jams, make games yourself. But what I'm doing, right, so I dropped out of school, and for 3 years I worked at Shadiversity and edited videos, became a full-time video editor, camera operator, did that for 3 years. Until basically, two things happened really. Like during that time it was good because I was able to work on the game that you're seeing here. I worked, tirelessly at nights working on games. So you can always work on games. You could always do that as your hobby. And I'm someone who, even if I got everything taken away from me, I would still find a way to make games, whether it's going to a public library and using the browser version of Godot to make stuff. Like, I will always be making video games, no matter what. But I didn't want that for myself or my life. We basically, in Australia and most of the world, have gone into recession. Rent's gone up. I can't afford to live in a place right now because just rent is too expensive to have the means of living. And finding a job's really hard. Even a casual job. Like, I've been trying to find a job just to pay bills that is, seasonal, whatever. And you just can't get work. And so I have things I want to do in my life. There are goals and achievements I want to have. My biggest thing I want to share with you all is that one day I want to work at Valve Software. I don't know if I'll ever achieve that goal, but that is the thing I'm working most towards in my life, is working at that company, because they're the best of the best. They make incredible things. I love the way they think. I love the way they design their products and the way they talk with their customers, and everything that I'm as a person has actually been built up by what Valve Software have created and released in the world. Not just Half-Life. I love Half-Life. But even the way that they've changed things in terms of like Team Fortress 2, the way they develop things with Dota 2, things that are on the Steam Deck and operating systems. I love Valve Software, and it's a place I look at and just go, if I can get the ability personally that they see me as a competent hire, then I've achieved the goals in my life that I've set out to achieve. And so part of that, I actually got to meet one of the devs at GCAP, which is the game developers conference of kind of this area in the world. And I talked to him about a bunch of things, and he's like, yeah, look, one of the things for me at least, like being international, is that getting a visa is quite difficult. And one of the things that help you with that is getting a bachelor. But I didn't want to get a bachelor in games because, well, one, they don't really teach you much, and two, I wouldn't really enjoy it because I already know a lot of the stuff they're already teaching. It's not advanced stuff. And so I decided to do computer science. Two reasons. One, it was something that I felt like making games, there were gaps in my knowledge, and I felt like computer science could fill those gaps. And I can tell you, after one semester of doing a computer science degree at Swinburne University in Melbourne, gaps have been filled, and a lot of things have been taught, and a lot of things have been understood. Before I knew certain concepts and things, but I didn't fully understand them. And now I understand them so much better. It's not a perfect knowledge, it's only my first semester, and I haven't done a lot to show for it yet. But the groundwork that they have laid is so much better than any sort of games programming intro or whatever else has shown me. And my perspective has changed now from wanting to be someone who wants to make... My perspective has changed from someone who wants to make video games for a living to someone who wants to be a computer scientist. I want to make game engines. I want to understand and properly develop software that works on the machine level of computers, right? It's funny, I went to a lecture, and the lecture was very much telling us how it was in terms of, making games in the industry. And if you're doing art, there was like showing how many narrative people there are in games in Australia. And he's like, in Melbourne, there was one listing in the past 5 years, and I don't think that job's available anymore. Stuff like that. But he's like, you know what? For computer scientists, for programmers, heaps of jobs. Heaps of jobs. And it's interesting that if I could go back, I would definitely go back and do a computer science course, do 3 years, because now I'm 27. And it would have been great to have a lot of this knowledge back when I wasn't 27, because then I could be working in the industry and making money. And here's the thing, right? The biggest thing I think, Ryzen, that you need to realize is that, especially for younger people, we are so much against, like, everything's against us. Everything's against us, you know. I hate to sound like a liberal, because I'm definitely not a very progressive person. Personally, I'm more conservative and traditional in many aspects of my life. But we are in the state of late stage capitalism. It could be different parts in the world that are a bit different, but we have a lot of things stacked up against us. In terms of like software and stuff, like we are seeing it in a plateau in it. Before, 10 years ago, it was such an insane paying job, and that's for doing basic stuff. Now it's definitely the cutting the fat, the trimming off those who are less skilled and qualified. But no matter what you pick, right, we are going to be at the front end of a very difficult time in history, with everything that's going on in the world. And when you look at what you want to achieve in your life, when you're 18, you're more hopeful. But I'll tell you this much: once you reach the ripe old age of like 25, you will have been through some things, and experienced things where you're like, oh, life is not fair, nor is it easy. And I really had that. And it was hard, and it was not enjoyable to experience. And so, as much as you may be thinking, oh, my parents don't want me to follow my passion, I can tell you, right, I've got one friend who does software dev stuff. This guy, he's good. He has the freedom to make choices he wants, right? He gets paid well. The company he works for really likes him as an employee. They always cater things to him. And he's, dare I say, despite a very hard life before this, he's been very successful. And that's the thing, right? If you have a good paying job or in a position where you can negotiate things, you can be like, hey, I want to take 6 months off to go make a video game. Or, hey, like, this new opportunity has come up. I want to take it instead. And they're like, we'll pay you double. Like, that's really good stuff to have. But if your decision is to make games and be a game developer and that's all you're going to do, like, what are you going to do when it doesn't work out? People won't hire you because you don't have the qualifications to be a programmer, because all you know is a certain game engine. You don't know how C works. You don't understand Python. You can't help build websites, all that sort of thing. And it doesn't even need to be like software. You could pick a totally different job, something completely different. Like one thing I always think of is like, man, I should have picked a trade. I should have become an electrician. I should have gone and done, like, I know one thing that's really big right now is plumbers, but the ones who do like air conditioning and heating and stuff. Pick a job that pays well. If you do that, then you have the freedom to make choices of things that you want. I know people who are in their 40s and 50s who they've been doing software their whole life. And now they're like, you know what? I'm getting to the point now where I have a lot of negotiation power and I have a lot of money and I'm set up for retirement, but I'm not going to retire yet. And so you know what they do? They start making games. And because they're comfortable and they have the freedom to do, which money is given them, then they can make and do what they want and take risks. The issue with graduating at 18 and just making games is that if you aren't successful and you end up going on for another 10, 20 years, after the 10, 20 years, you're going to be in such a bind and you're not going to have choices for things, and even simple things, right? Like a few years ago when we were in this financial hardship, I had friends and family being like, hey, come visit us, come travel with us, what is $300 for tickets to go to Japan? And I'm like, at the time, 300 was a lot of money. Like, that would keep our heads above the water. That is the difficult situation we were in. And so making games is great. But I think, and one example I go off to, right, is Harrison Ford, Han Solo, Indiana Jones. He didn't just go to acting school and then break into the industry to become an actor. He had a plan B. His plan B, aside from teaching and stuff, was also being a carpenter. And here's the clever thing, right? So he was a carpenter in Hollywood, and he would help build sets for the movies. And so he was in the environment, in the industry he wanted to be in, but he was in a job position that he could always fall back on. And so that's why, for me at least, right, it's why I'm learning computer science, is that I can learn the tools and things I need to be a programmer, to go do, be a software developer. But the other cool thing is, right, that also gives me the options to, for example, one thing I'd love to do in Queensland, they've got EA and they've got a team that does the Frostbite game engine. And part of that stepping stone for me getting to Valve would be to work on bigger titles, bigger experiences. And so I think instead of kind of picking the one thing you want and just writing it through, it's really important to have a plan B, something that you're happy to have, but also something that exposes you to the thing that you enjoy. That way, when the time comes and the opportunity arises, you can then have that choice to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to be struggling and you'll never be in that boat or opportunity. So that's kind of a very long rant, a lot of advice and experience that I've at least had personally. And here's the thing, right? Everything I say is based off of my personal experience. Others could disagree. Others could say, I believe differently. That's fine. But I think a lot of younger people are naively just picking game development, and people, I hate it. Like, certain schools and stuff will just lie to you and say, yeah, there's jobs after you graduate. No. And if there are, they're very, very competitive. It's better to have a plan B that will help you succeed in life. Because that's the thing. The thing in life is having choice and agency to do what you want. But it's very hard to do if you are running a dead-end job or still working as a barista because your hit game hasn't come out yet. Yeah. Anyways, I will go read through chat for a second, sorry. And I might turn the light on now because I look a bit dark. Am I dark, chat? Should I turn on the light? Is that a good idea? Oh, thank you for the $5. You already pay me like $5 a month. What are you doing? Keep your money. You're literally just like, you have no plan B. You're struggling 3D artist. What are you doing? Stop sending me money. Stop sending me money. All right, we'll put the light on then. Oh, I hate when apps update and they're just worse than what they were before. The connection failed. What if we say add? Add something. Oh, wait, you know what? I think it's because it's a physical one. Look, Grayson, if you've got any more questions, feel free to ask. Because I'll give it to you real. Because here's the thing, right? I want to make games. I'm going to make games. But I also want to have a family, raise kids, buy a house. And so, while the dream of making games full time is great for me, I also want to stay where I live, and there's not much opportunity for that, even online, right? And so I'll be with you. I will be real in saying what is possible and doable. And I tell you what, no one, hardly anyone has helped me or even said it in the correct way that I understood. And yeah, definitely study hard, do personal projects of really cool things as well. My friend got his job, this really good paying job, because he joined a club and basically made a rocket ship simulator. Everyone else was kind of more base code stuff, and he's like, no, I fully integrated physics to make this thing work. And that was the thing that impressed them. So study hard, but also have really good portfolio pieces and like stuff that you can just show people and kind of wow them with. Dragonblade asks, regarding your dream about working at Valve, does it include getting something out the door, or would you be fine working on projects that would probably never see the light of day? Like, of course, I want my work to be seen by others, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize how much Valve actually does. Like, yes, they haven't made, a full sequel game in a while, but they've done a lot of stuff. Like, personally, right, there's two ways of doing it. I would either work on the team that does game stuff. I would be a game designer. And so it's interesting, though, because I know the reason why they haven't released certain things is because it wasn't good enough. They weren't happy with it. And I understand that because I've experienced that. I've made games and have been like, this isn't good. I can't solve this problem. Or I've made videos where I'm like, this just is not, I'm not proud of this. I'm going to just not release the video. And so that doesn't mean that work is never seen. Like, for example, they showed some work on what would have been Half-Life 2 Episode 3, where they had goop, this goop monster, and that goop that was within Source 1's engine ended up being used in the goop that was used in Portal 2. And so even though my work in certain aspects might not be seen, and some of their work might not be seen in certain aspects, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes and what work's actually been done and then pushed forward, right? And so, like, my work will see the light of day. Yeah, exactly, Colin. Like, they can be the most experimental, interesting things, but they can also, like, not be. Sometimes, and that's the thing why I love Valve, is that they playtest a lot, they do lots of research, and a lot of their work is just figuring stuff out. And that's what I love about them, is that they will go down the path that needs to be explored. And like, I had a thought and then comments distracted me. Like, there are probably things that they... Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by myself. They've probably discovered and experimented things in cases of VR, maybe even in networking and sort of stuff, that, like, they're not going to tell people because it's not relevant to the game, but they're going to be like, okay, we know now not to have a frame rate at this, or, you know, they know how things should work, and they've probably experimented with things and have gone down the pathway of like, this is not an efficient use of designing it this way. So to answer your question, I'm perfectly fine with my work not being released, never seen the light of day. The thing is just working. You know, I love to work. I love to work hard. And so if it doesn't see the light of day, doesn't mean it wasn't an effective use of time. Maybe it was some really important research. Maybe I made a system that will later be incorporated. And as well, right, like I said before, working at EA and Frostbite, I would love to work on game engine stuff. And so most of the stuff that I would work on, you won't see anyways, because it'll be tools. It'll be back-end services. You guys aren't going to see that, but I know that I've worked on it. So for me, it's more just working in an awesome place on awesome things, having the ability to just be an effective, very self-disciplined person, and working with the best people. Like that. That's why I want to work at Valve. Yeah, and like the funny thing is, right? I was talking to one of the Valve devs at GCAP, and I was like, it's interesting, you know, it's a company, it's a structure that I don't see many other companies do. And he's like, really? I see it all the time. And I'm like, what companies have Valve's flat structure? And he's like, indie devs. We are just a big indie dev company. And I was like, touche. You got me there. Yeah, Dragon Blade, like yeah. So the story with the GPU manufacturers got their math wrong. I mean, do you guys want to hear about that, or you do not care? Yeah, exactly, Jonas. The best work is never noticed because often it's not supposed to draw attention to itself. Yeah, Leptonics, I know, you're a 3D artist. But that's different, right? Like, and that's what I think people were always interested in seeing in like cancelled projects of any game. It's like, oh, what did the art look like? What was that 3D model? Or like when they, what's it called? Like when they mine stuff, or like unreleased projects. Oh, crap. Data mining. Like they'll data mine a 3D model and be like, look at this, and I found the texture for this. But yeah, basically what happened was when they're making Half-Life 2, so this is on the cusp of the early 2000s. And GPUs are still new in the PC sphere. Not everyone has a GPU still. People are still using CPUs. So when they're making Half-Life 2, they had to develop different renderers. One is they had to do with the CPU. So all of their renderer stuff was based off of the CPU that would render the cycles. Two, then they had to make separate renderers for the different DirectX and for the GPUs. And what they did was, during development, is that they discovered that the colors were looking different on their native CPU renderer compared to the other closed manufacturer's GPU renders. They'd be like, that color's off, or the lighting isn't working correct. And it wasn't until they dug deeper that they realized that the math that they were using to render things was incorrect in the other GPUs manufacturers. And so they had to tell them, hey guys, your math's wrong. And the funny thing is, right, the person who called this out was a developer who he's an artist, right? But he was an art major. And so these computer scientists are being all snobby, being like, this bro saying that our math is wrong. He's an art major. He doesn't know anything about that. Mind you, this guy was also the one who made Half-Life 2 characters look so real because he studied eyes and facial features for like a year. He did a whole study on this research paper. And it wasn't until he had a few of the other Valve people who were computer scientists back him up and say, no, guys, he's right, your math is wrong, that they were then like, oh, okay, we'll fix it then. But that's the thing, like with Valve, I love about it is that even someone who is an art major, someone who is just an artist, they are pushed and they work so diligently to the point where they understand the math of their art. Like they are the best of the best. Yeah, so that's the story of how Valve corrected the GPU's manufacturer's math because they got it wrong. Where in their own CPU renderer, it was right. Yuri, when Gaben does pass away, Valve will not die and Steam will not die. If you think that Gabe even has a say in what happens day to day, then I'm sorry, you're not aware. But Valve has had a culture that's been very strong and ingrained, and it isn't just Gabe who pushes the ship. It's literally everyone at Valve Software that pushes the ship. Well, that's the thing in me. Like, it is math, but it's just understanding how. This is the funny thing I don't think people realize is that programmers, I think, are very logical. Artists, I think, are very observant. So there's two things that programmers and artists have that are their skills. Artists are very observant. Programmers are very logical. And the thing is, when you put those two things together, that's how you then make something that's really good. If you have a logical thinking artist or an observant programmer, then you've got a powerhouse right there. Because, for example, there was a short I saw. I don't know where it's gone now. But there was a programmer who was trying to automate this like cybermech for walking, and he was like, okay, functionally it's working because the steps are going up and down, but for some reason it doesn't look natural. And he had all these knobs and buttons and stuff, and he had to get the artist, the animator, to look at and see, okay, with the walk cycle, right, the foot goes up, but then you need more drag for this one as it goes down, and that sort of thing. So yeah, and Yuri, again, I'm sorry, I just disagree because Valve is a flat company and it's a private company too. Apple, yes, was run by Steve Jobs because he was a micromanager and he had a public company that had to meet shareholders' needs. Steam and Valve, well, sorry, I should say Valve, is a private company. It's a flat company, meaning that you have no managers, or rather, everyone around you is your manager. That's how it works, right? It's not that you aren't responsible to anyone. It's that you are responsible to everyone, and every decision that is made at the company has to then be agreed upon with everyone else. You have to defend your position. And I doubt Gabe is at all like, and the thing is, right, when I talked, because I've talked to a few of the Valve employees, and they all have the same mindset, and they all have the same culture, and all the same way of thinking. It's not just that they're all cookie cutter; they all have their different opinions and skill base and stuff. But the way that they run as a business, it's unified. I've talked to the workers there. I know, I can tell you that much. And you have people there who've been working there for absolute decades, and a lot of choices that have been made that are not from Gaben. Like I know, for example, if you think Gabe always makes the correct choices, the lead for Portal 2 had to have a very animate discussion with Gabe because when they're making Portal 2, he said, GLaDOS must have a face. She must have a face. You have to give GLaDOS a face. She has to have a physical persona, okay? She must have a face. Give GLaDOS a face. And they had to fight him for it and be like, no, she doesn't need it. Yeah, electronics, they get it from CSGO loot boxes and Steam. Steam honestly does it. And yeah. Hey, Jonas, thank you for stopping by. If you're interested in a Steam code, feel free to head to the Discord and just be like, hey, I would like a beta key, and I can give you access to a playtest version. Yeah, exactly, Yuri. If they'd made Steam a public company, it would have gone downhill for sure. That's what I think is going to happen with Discord when it goes public. But Steam is privately owned, and I think it will remain that way for a long time. Yeah, what's the time? 4:35? Yeah, Xeno, potato GLaDOS supremacy. What were we up to? I think we're up to basically the upgrade screen, weren't we? Yeah, I don't know why you're so adamant on why, like, Gabe is there. Like, you know, the man is just on a yacht chilling most of the time. He's basically retired. And he has other ventures too. Like, he does lots of marine research work with his yachts. And he's also working on a different company that is doing brain interfacing. So I honestly believe that Gabe is off doing other things and just letting Valve work its course. Okay. So, don't know why it's loading the other. I feel like maybe it's like an engine thing. I have a feeling of that. But I guess let's work on the upgrade system, hey? But so many other people are running Steam. Like, Gabe is never. Okay, this is. Okay. When you're a developer on Steam, you get access to different slides. They have Q&As with Steam Next Fest and all that sort of stuff. They'll do training and stuff. Gabe is never there talking about business and marketing and stuff. It's always people who are head of Steam. Gabe will come out and make a public announcement for stuff when things happen, but it's a lot of people that are just working there, and he'll always give you input. I'm not saying that is, not there doing stuff. I'm sure Gabe is a very good visionary. He's a very good leader in that regard, I think. He's got very good at seeing the future. But if you're thinking that Gabe is literally in the back end making Steam work day to day with the summer sales and stuff, it's so many other people. It's such a team effort. And Gabe has proven that again and again. There was an awards ceremony way back in the early 2000s. I heard this from Chet. He does TikToks occasionally. And they were inviting Valve to come get an award or go to an award ceremony where they're going to get it. And they're like, okay, we want to invite you to come and collect this award on behalf of Valve. And he's like, only if the team comes with me. And they're like, well, how many of the team are there? And he's like, I think it's like 10 or 15. It's like, the team has to come with me because they made the game. I'm sure sometimes they're face of it, but like, they made the game. They have to come and collect the award because it's their award. And sometimes Gabe would reject awards because simply the team couldn't be there to accept it. And in every game made by Valve, it's never like, you know, with Star Wars, where it's like created by George Lucas, written by George Lucas, whatever. Gabe's name is in the credits, but it's always alphabetical order from the last name. So he will be closer to the end than ever in the middle, because it's made by a team of people. Anyway, you got me talking about Valve, and I'm scared I'm going to say something's going to haunt me in a future job interview, and they're like, you said this about our company. Explain. Really, I'm just trying to defend it. Okay, I'm trying to defend it. I'm not dissing any respect to Gabe. I love the man, and I would love to have a conversation with him because he's such an intelligent guy. But also, the smart thing with him is that he's made an incredible company with an awesome team. Yeah, he inspires the culture. And I can tell you enough people now, because how long has the company been around? Since like the 1990s. There's a strong enough company culture now where everyone knows how to do things. So, yeah. And the hard part is right now, because I'm not employed at the company, I can say stuff like this. But just so you guys know, the day I get hired, you're getting zilch out of me for the rest of the time. Unfortunately. That might be the end of the YouTube channel as well. When I get hired at Valve, which everyone's going to be like, no! Like, at that point, I probably wouldn't have uploaded for a while. But, who knows? Maybe they would have changed by then and be like, you know what? Let's do vlogs and videos. Okay. So, upgrades. This is an interesting one. Because we've got nothing here right now. And I almost want to have a sub-menu of stuff. Yeah. Go on. I mean, I have said everything I'm going to say. I mean, yeah. I was like, oh, so what I'm working on. I'm like, well, I can't tell you what I'm working on because I'm not working on anything right now. Ricochet 2. That's what I'll work on. Ricochet 2. My hot take on Steam. I mean, that's the funny thing, though. I feel like it's actually... when you say hot takes on things, people are more inclined to hire you on it. I've thought about it, and I think people will just agree with me on this. But my hot take is I don't think Steam needs a subscription service. I don't think it needs it. People have thought of the idea that maybe you need kind of like an Xbox Game Pass style subscription service for Steam. And I've thought about it in different ways and it could work. Think of it as like an Audible subscription style where you'd get like a token each month along with a free selection of games. And you can, that token can be used to buy in-game items on CSGO or any, selection of games and stuff. But the more I think about it, the more I just think it would fundamentally change the ecosystem, the marketplace. But I also think that you have such a good market right now. People pay what they want and they feel like they own it. You pay $2 for a game that's on sale and you're good. Yeah, family sharing as well. Like, I think that's a better service. And like, my hot take on Steam, my hot take is that their Steam app sucks on phone and could be better. That's my hot take. Honestly, that's kind of, my hot take is that I would help probably like, the app isn't terrible. It's functional. But there's just certain things like there'll be menus that obviously they're trying to get their like web page version into a mobile format. It doesn't work. Maybe it's because I've got an old phone. But yeah, my one thing would be that fixing their Steam app. But the funny thing is, right, why I love Steam more than like Epic Games is that it's super fast and it works well. Epic Games Launcher, hate it. Absolute passion. Ugh. Unreal Engine, I use because it's the closest thing to Source 2. But that's about it. Ugh. Leptonics, you need more fish. Hey, Kiernan, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part too, though. I feel like Valve are smaller than people realize, and so doing stuff like internationally is actually a lot of work for the people in charge of doing that to do. Also depends where you are in the world and your market, because, yeah. Dragonblade, you have 2 Steam apps on your phone. Well, is it actually Steam? Maybe it's an Android thing. Because I've got the Steam app and then I've got the Steam Link. Someone else walking the dog. Okay, so with upgrades, this is a bit tricky. Oh, I guess it's not super tricky. Because what we need here is we need a sub menu. But I don't know how sub menus work with. Yeah, Dragonblade, like, Sandbox is closer to Source 2. I've got Sandbox here so I can show you. The issue is, at least for me, is that I love Gary. But he's basically got Source 2 and then made it as close to Unity as possible. So like this, I'm trying to think of like what one. Oh, I mean, that doesn't really matter. So this is Sandbox. This is a branch off of Source 2 that Gary got access to. Basically, he's been making his own engine with it. And it is very saucy, very saucy. But it doesn't feel like it's really meshed yet. And also I'm annoyed because I'm someone who loves Source 2, and you basically just made this Source 2 baby, chopped it up, and done your little thing on it. Just to wait for it to compile and load. And this is why you need a good CPU, guys. So stuff like this doesn't take as long. The only game Kiernan would pirate is Coco Loco. Rude. So this is Sandbox. And it kind of just looks like a different version of Unity, if I'm being honest. And, you know, it's got its own flavor of things. It's performant in an empty scene. Source 2 Conan is like... No, it's not a full public engine. But there are branches of it that you can have access to. So games that have Source 2, like Dota, Counter-Strike, and Half-Life Alyx, they have workshop tools, which are like flavors of Source 2 baked into that specific game, so you can work within Source 2 for it. Okay, now I'm apparently just getting errors and stuff, which is annoying. Because, again, Gary's changed things, so I can't... Like, where's the hammer editor? I want the hammer editor. Like, all this stuff has changed, and so it's very much now no longer Source 2, it's Sandbox. It's just got some of the base stuff that is Source 2. What I want, right? Also, it's slow, and it runs through Steam, which is not fun. I've been doing a mod for Half-Life Alyx. So when you play a Source 2 game, you can get the workshop tools. Steam Foundation. All right, I gotta. Oh wait, probably gotta do it anyways. Close, cancel. Launch workshop tools. Disable VR. Launch. And so, Source 2, at least with this workshop, is that it'll have a window that's the playable game window right here. You'll have a asset browser, and then you can open something like the hammer editor, which is like a level editor. And then I think Cabin 2 is the one I was working on. And then you have a full 3D scene here, and this is all Source 2. And the thing, among many things I love about Source 2, is that you can, like, all of this was made as a 3D model. So you can do some pretty nifty, if we go to like the face mode, you can extrude, you can cut, and then basically you can kind of get the idea from here is that you can then make your own shapes and things. And it's not just with cubes, it's with all sorts of shapes and sizes. It's also got hot texturing. So right now you can see this floor here. If we go to our materials, and let's try and think of like a, just search floor and see what comes up. We can change this to this floor instead, and it'll have different hotspot texturing. So you can't really see it on here because it's a sphere, but you will be able to see it on here, sort of. So the cool thing with hotspot texturing is that, let me try and get a different one. Yeah, like here. Is that textures will have different segments that you can use for different areas of the model. And so, for example, if you have like a wall and then a pillar, and you want to have different segments of that model, then it'll carry that to different parts of the texture to then make it look like it's like organic or different textures, but really it's just the same texture. And the way that the logic and stuff all works here is that basically you have these entities, and this again is a bit different because it's a workshop tool. Whereas if you were using full Source 2, it might be a bit different. I can't tell you because I've never worked in Source 2. But yeah, you have entities which then has logic. And so this logic here has it so that it will play a sound when the game starts, and then it goes on to different logic gates as well. Again, this is just like a half-baked map that I'm working in Half-Life Alyx. But yeah, it's really good. I love it. And I wish that this full thing was available for the public because I would use it in a heartbeat. Anyways. The UI looks confusing, but it is just so powerful. Like the thing I love about in-house software is that it's a power tool. Like you just become really effective in using it. It isn't going to be user-friendly to start off with, but like all those things have a system, and it's a different layout too. Like basically, it's just what this is, but on the side, and the buttons that you need are all there. It's kind of like Maya. Yeah. I guess any more questions, guys? Might wrap up soon. Because we've been streaming for quite some time. So, oh, that was with the sync. We don't need that for now. Results widget. Oh, I think what we need is a horizontal. What if I just copied this? Dragonblade, have I tried requesting access to it? For Source 2? No. Mostly because I've got nothing to my name, and there's no reason for me to kind of get it. I reckon their response would be, just use another game engine. Why are you using R specifically? Unless, for example, I was making a mod off of a branch of their game, like if I was making something super successful in Counter-Strike that was a game mode, I'm like, hey, I want to make this into a full game, can I use Source 2? Or if I was like, same with Half-Life Alyx. Or if I was proven enough and in good enough standing with them that I was like, hey, can I get some access to Source 2 and just work my own little thing? Trust me. Yeah, that's, I guess, the only way you could get access to that. They're not going to give it out to any just random person. Unfortunately. I'd love for them to give it to me, but I don't think I have that standing with them as it currently is. I see. Okay, border. Can we fit it in? No. Sorry, team didn't mute that one. Kidden, I love the gesture. I love the gesture, but please don't. Oh, Leptonics, you know what? As much as I think Loco will sell millions, I think the next one will be more interesting, and they'll probably let me experiment with stuff then. What's my opinion on documentation and using AI to learn functionality? I mean, documentation's important, and AI is, gosh, what even is AI? AI is good for learning base principles. Okay. AI is good for kissing, and by that I mean keeping it simple. Stupid or sexy, whatever you want to call it. I had a friend who was like, keep it stupid, keep it simple, sexy. And I'm like, that's gross. Keep it simple. AI is great for keeping it simple. If you're like, what is a variable? It'll tell you this is a variable. What does this function do? It's great at repeating and regurgitating stuff. But in terms of like learning actual proper functionality and critical thinking, trust me, bro, it's not there. I mean, it really depends on what documentations you're reading. Yeah, like if you're using something very public and widely available and used commonly, yeah, it's good. For using it with Godot, not good, because it still thinks it's using it in the 3.0 version, not the 4.0. So half the time my code's wrong. And it's the same thing with like C++. If you're using a particular library, sometimes it'll be great, and other times it won't be. And sometimes, right, it'll be good for the first response, but as you begin to dig deeper into being like, okay, well then how do I make this function work with this, or how can I reproduce this as a string, it eventually confuses itself and is no longer good. Hey, Malbur Gaming Arena, thank you. Thank you for sending love all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. That's crazy. Yeah, kind of exactly. Self-reliance will serve you well. Yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing I've found is that whenever I'm working on something, AI is a good tool as a crutch for a bit, but I never end up using it more consistently. Like I used it a lot when I was first starting out, and I'll still use it like you were saying with documentation. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, ChatGPT, I want to save bits of data to reference in a level. What's the best thing to use to save that reference? Is it good to be a string of a text file? Is it good to be a data table? What would you suggest? And I would usually poke it with questions and be like, well, in this use case, will it really be that effective to do? Just to kind of get a broad understanding. Like it's really good for knowing what to research, I think. It's like having a computer science friend. And when you're like, hey, so I want to make a high score screen, but I don't know how to like list all the scores. How do I do that? ChatGPT will be like, make a list. Here's what a list is in this programming language. And you'll be like, cool. And you go research it. Where when you start making it try to build things or try to be more critical in thinking and understanding, and even design patterns, right? Like I was asking it a little while ago, some C++ stuff. I was like, okay, this is a small scale project. I want to probably upscale in the future. What is the best design choice for this? And at the end of the day, it either said something really stupid, and I was like, you weren't listening to me, or something that I was like, that's just fundamentally wrong. So, anyways, I think what I'm gonna do is open the settings. Do we have it in menu? No, I think it's WPP. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, so it makes its own thing. Okay, look, chat, we've actually done a lot today. It's 5 p.m. here tonight. It's been really fun. I think I'm going to close off the stream by saying thank you all. Depending on what's going to happen, I might stream again later this week. I've had a great turnout. Thank you all for watching. It's been really good to see you all. 16 concurrent viewers. That's great. It's probably going to keep climbing as we get into the night more because of the crossover of the time zones. But we've accomplished a lot today. We've solved the save system in Coco Loco. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. But yeah, I'm going to now work on getting the upgrades menu. Like, Leptonics, I will be more active during my break. Yes. In terms of private messaging, are you talking about, or more YouTube stream stuff? Because I have a few videos I want to edit and upload, and yeah. Aside from that, I have an exam on Friday. Maybe you guys will once I get around to making the credits. But yeah, I'm going to go do some other errands and stuff. It's been really fun. You know what's funny? I remember I got that water. And I thought, because I was really thirsty, I was going to drink it. But you guys got me talking so much. I haven't even drunken half a glass yet. Which is crazy. But yeah. Yuri, I will apply to Valve in the next 10 years, okay? But not right now. I'm too young and inexperienced. I am not lying on my resume. That is the one way to never work at a company ever again. Yuri, what are you on about? Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. I'll see you later this week, probably, if I decide to, if not upload a video. Yuri, you're gonna get a little bit of time out there, buddy, because I don't know what you're on about. Yeah. Anyways, see you all later this week. Thank you all for a good stream until that weird ending. And thank you all for coming along. We're gonna finish Coco Loco. We're gonna have the goal is at the end of next month to have a new Steam update for you all to play and try and enjoy and give feedback on, so we can design it and finish it. Hopefully, we'll have stuff to do. I'm thinking of deadlines in my head, and I'm like, I'm not going to promise anything to myself because that's just going to be disappointment. So for now, end of next month, full Steam playtest to be able to experiment and go through with. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I have an end thing, but I don't think I've updated the names for it, so I'm not going to press it. It usually has like little names in the corner of like people who've supported me. But yeah, thank you all to my members, especially. You know who you are. Your donations don't go without a lot of appreciation, and you also get cool emotes and icons in the chat, so good thing for that. And if you want to support me as well, become a member, and you can also have cool little face emojis like the ones you can see there. Yeah, I guess thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next